Memo. Now for the top story tonight, joining us from San Francisco is Joan Walsh. Do you feel that late-term fetuses deserve any protections at all, Ms. Walsh?
You know, Bill, that really is the hardest issue in the abortion debate. They make up 1% of all abortions. And certainly there are abuses, but the vast majority of that 1% happen to be women who were either diagnosed with breast cancer, very late stage, have to choose between their baby and chemotherapy. That young girl's story was really tragic, but I've also read the story of a 9-year-old who was raped by her stepfather, who didn't know she was pregnant until very late. And women who found out late in their pregnancies, tragically, that their babies really would die in a matter of days. They would be subject to surgery, et cetera, et cetera. So,
well, all of that, if they find that out, all of that is can be taken care of in many hospitals. The Supreme Court, as you know, has ruled, even in states that outlaw late-term abortion, if the mother's health is in catastrophic danger, abortion can take place anywhere.
And that is
later.
the great majority of these abortions.
This Tiller thing is bogus, and I believe you know it. If you don't, I'm going to play another soundbite that should prove it to you. You're wrong, first of all, and to attack me and call me vile and the other names that you've called me on your website is unconscionable. But let me stick to this Tiller thing. 60,000 abortions, according to the Washington Times. The man charged $6,000 each, became a millionaire doing it. According to all of the investigation,
the last time I saw,
what was that?
The last time I saw your show, it was 5,000. He was charging 5,000.
No, he upped
it. Maybe it's 6.
In the last couple of years of his life, he upped it to 6,000.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
So, you know, a woman with breast cancer who was undergoing chemo or whatever couldn't have gotten the abortion unless she could come up with $6,000. He wasn't doing it pro bono.
That wasn't always true, actually.
Yes, it was. It was actually almost 100% true, because you haven't seen. Ms. Walsh, have you seen the investigative documents?
We have different.
No. It isn't a matter of difference. It's a matter of facts. Have you seen the investigative documents the state of Kansas put together against Tiller? Have you, madam?
I have skimmed them.
You have skimmed them?
I have skimmed.
Well,
yes,
if you have skimmed them, and it's shocking to me that you wouldn't read them if you're going to accuse somebody like me of being a vile accomplice to murder, that you wouldn't read them. But if you skim them,
I said you were vile. Yeah. I did. I did not accuse you of being an accomplice to murder. So let's be really clear about our language here, Bill.
I'm vile because I'm looking out for late-term fetuses who you believe have no rights at all. Now, I asked you in the first question, do you believe late-term fetuses should have any protections in the United States at all? Do you?
I believe that late-term abortion, under the current circumstances, to save the life of the mother,
save the life of the mother, nobody's arguing with. Tiller was aborting late-term fetuses for casual reasons. That's what he was doing.
I really haven't seen any evidence of that, Bill.
All right, hold it,
we live in different worlds, Bill. I know the stories of women who suffered tragedy. Bill, you had a long lead into this.
You're filibustering, Ms. Walsh. Stop talking. You just said you haven't seen any evidence of that, okay? Here's a tape from Dr. Paul McHugh, head of the psychiatric school at Johns Hopkins University, madam. Roll it.
I didn't think that those records supported the idea that these women were likely to suffer a substantial and irreversible impairment. They highlighted certain kinds of things which, out of context, were hard, of course, to appreciate, but were sometimes of a most trivial sort, from saying that I won't be able to go to concerts or I won't be able to take part in sports, to more serious ones, such as I don't want to give my child up for adoption.
Your reaction?
I don't necessarily know what makes those men any better judges of these women's conditions than Dr. Tiller. Bill, we live in different worlds. You believe your experts, I believe mine.
Okay.
I've talked to dozens of women who support what Dr. Tiller did.
You're saying that Dr. McHugh, head of the psychiatric school at Johns Hopkins University, is lying.
I didn't say he's lying. I'm not sure what he's looking at, and I'm not sure what makes him more qualified just
from looking at records. What makes him more qualified is that he's head of one of the most prestigious psychiatric schools, and he's retired now.
But he's
in the United States.
But he's reading from records.
No,
he's reading from records.
He did his own
investigation.
He did his own investigation based upon the testimony that was given to the Kansas authorities. Look, all right, I'm going to take a break.
Bill,
we'll
he
calm
was
down
acquitted
a little bit.
of everything he was ever accused of.
It's the same
what
argument.
he did was legal.
Joan, that's right. What he did was legal. I've asked you two questions. Do the fetuses at late term have any protections? You haven't answered it. You're right. What he did was legal, but it was wrong. And it was brutal. And you, because of your ideology, won't acknowledge it. Now, I'm going to take a deep breath. You take a deep breath. We're going to bring Miss Walsh back, give her more of a say. Continuing now with our lead story, the far left on the attack. Rejoining us from San Francisco, the editor of Salon.com, Joan Walsh. Now, I'm going to ask you once again, third time, do you believe late-term fetuses are entitled to any protections in the United States of America?
I believe the law should be what it is, Bill, and I believe
so 37 states ban the
campaign.
procedure, and you're okay with those 37 states banning it?
Yes, I'm fine with some states banning it. But I personally think it should be legal. I think it's always got to be.
You think it's always got to be legal?
Decision of the mother.
But you are not willing to state that a late-term fetus is entitled to any national protection at all. None. It's got
no,
to
I'm
be.
not.
Okay.
I'm really not.
All right, fine.
But the issue here, you know, Bill, there are
honest,
a lot of things that are legal in this country that people are very upset about. There are people who think guns should be abolished. I'm not one of them, but let's just take that as an example,
we're not going to take that as an example. We have more important things to talk about.
Would it be okay for those people to go crusade against gun dealers and put their pictures up and call them baby killers and say they have blood on their hands and picket their
Joan,
stores?
Look, you
that's
can make
illegal,
any theoretical
that's a
argument
right
you want.
That many people think should not be.
Joan,
you need to change the laws. You don't need to crusade like a vigilante against somebody performing a legal medical procedure.
Everything
and that's
I
what you
reported
did.
is absolutely true. Tiller was running an abortion mill.
42 times. 24 times you
over
called him
a period
baby killer.
of 5 years, he was running an abortion mill. Everybody in Kansas knows
illegal
it. And
facility.
you don't care. You don't care.
He was running a legal facility.
You know who has blood on their hands? You. You don't care about these babies.
Bill.
It isn't ridiculous. You're the zealot.
You know, you're a piece of work,
no,
my
you're
friend.
the one who has blood
I don't
on
have
his
blood on my hands.
You're the zealot who won't even
crusade
consider
for anything. I work
you won't
for
even
abortion
consider
reduction.
that this man
I'm a
was
pro-choice Catholic who believes in abortion reduction and working with young girls and giving them rights, giving them information. Don't demonize me, my friend.
Look.
Don't
you
demonize
couldn't
me,
care
my
less
friend.
about anything that he did. Anything that he did was okay with you. Anything that Tiller did was okay with you because of your far left lunacy. Anything he did was okay with you.
Am I going to get to talk here, or will I always have to talk over you?
No. I ask you the question, you don't answer it, you want to talk about gun control.
You're asking me one question over and over and over again.
You don't believe in any protections at all, and you think Tiller is Dr. Welby.
What he did was legal. And I didn't say he's Dr. Welby, but yes, I know women who consider him a hero, Bill.
Yeah,
that is the divide in our society.
You do too. You think he's a hero.
You know what? I do.
I know. There you go.
I do consider him a hero.
Thank you.
And look, Bill, you crusaded against him. You crusaded against him. He had been shot twice
and I'm
already.
Sorry about
His
that.
His clinic had been exploded.
I'm sorry about
his clinic
that.
Had been attacked,
but my constitutional right says
vandalized.
I can say what I say. You say what you say. As vile as you say it, you can say it. And I would never condemn you for saying it. You are misguided. You have blood on your hands because you portray this man as a hero when he killed late-term babies
and you
for
routinely attack people on the left. Jane Ann Garofalo, Michael Moore, who you think their rhetoric leads to potentially to violence. It never has led to one act of violence, but you've already driven that crazy guy in Knoxville last year who read your writings and then went and shot up a church and shot liberals. That's already happened once, and you don't feel any responsibility at all now that it's happened a second time, Bill? Talk about blood on your hands.
I appreciate you coming on a program. I think everybody knows exactly where you're coming from.